Welcome back to The Line. A bill to outlaw conversion therapy aimed at minors who identify as homosexual, bisexual, or transgendered unanimously passed a Senate committee this week and is now moving on to the Senate floor. The bill defines conversion therapy as, quote, any practice or treatment that seeks to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity, including any effort to change behaviors or gender expressions, or to eliminate or reduce sexual or romantic attractions or feelings toward persons of the same sex. Tom, wow, that's a mouthful. Big stuff there. But seriously, here's the deal. You know, there's a group of folks out there in this country who feel like if you take a young kid who identifies as gay or transgendered or what have you, you can actually change that person's outlook, everything else. It's amazing that these things can even come to the surface, but here we are dealing with it. What's your thoughts on this one?
Well, you know, I think we're seeing how New Mexico thinks through the unanimous votes that we're seeing. It's already made it through both Senate Judiciary as well as Senate Public Affairs, all with unanimous votes. We saw a House Memorial in 2016 passed, courtesy of Representative Maestas as well as Representative Garcia Richard, and so you have a lot of there's momentum. And so, there's, there are, minds in Santa Fe that I think are reflecting, how New Mexico really feels on this particular issue.
There you go. Antoinette, only 6 other states in Washington, D.C., the district have this on the books at this point. Are we on trend here? Is this something that should be going on across the country?
I think it should be going on across the country. And I was really interested in how much research was before all of the legislators in the FIR report on this. It's really troubling to think that people believe that they can actually change who someone is. And I think it really gives rise to the high rate of suicides among this community. So I really think it's a public health bill, and I'm glad to see it. Yeah.
Adults stand in your face telling you are not who you are. It's a terrible thing. Shock therapy, it's been used in the past. What's your thoughts on this one? Is this an appropriate place for it to be legislated, first of all?
Well, first of all, you can't legislate it, right? Because people are still going to do this. Whether we allow it or not, there's going to be individuals that get in people's faces and do this kind of stuff. But to give people licenses to do shock therapy and ridicule individuals like this, it's insane. We should be way past this. I think at a time like this, we need to be we need to give these young people that are having questions with their identity, they need to feel comfortable in being able to talk to somebody, not feeling like, they're going to be ridiculed, they're going to be attacked for this. At the end of the day, it's not illegal, right? I mean, it's not illegal to be gay, lesbian, bisexual, and we have to stop treating these individuals like they're committing a crime. Right. It's something that's who they are, it's how they're identified, and I think when you read some of the stories, I mean, when the analysis from the Legislative Finance Committee says that the medical board says there's not a single example of this working, and there's a bunch of examples of it leading to more problems, it's got to be stopped.
Julianne, 2001, 16 years ago, the Surgeon General said the same thing Dan's mentioning. There's no evidence.
This is really about considering, gayness as a mental illness.
Right.
In 1973, this was removed from the, psychiatric diagnostic manual. It's not a mental illness. It's a normal expression of human behavior.
Unlike liberalism, right? Is that?
I like your point about, this is detrimental to youth to a very serious degree.
Right.
I mean, people who go through this type of counseling, to use air quotes around that, they come out with trauma from the counseling,
right.
And I think we have enough unchecked mental illness in our community, especially among our youth. We got to worry about the actual mental illness and not make normal human behavior
I just don't know how, as a parent,
that way.
Someone telling me my child's going to go through conversion therapy, that I would be like, this sounds like a great idea.
What if they try to turn them into a liberal, Dan?
I mean, that's true conversion therapy.
Horrifying.
I want, Julianne, staying with you, I want you to touch on Tom's point that the process is speaking for the public as it stands right now. Unanimous votes. We don't need, we'll see what happens on the Senate floor and then beyond. Do you have the same sense that the public's speaking through our representatives right now in a way that we should be?
I'm not sure that I've heard a lot from the public about this issue. I mean, I think Senator Candelaria is to really be commended for bringing this forward. He's a gay man serving in our legislature. If he's not going to speak out about this issue, I'm not sure who else is going to.
I just said that.
And I don't hear many voices of dissent. I think it's to, what I said earlier about things people are willing to say privately that are really heartless and cruel. they're not willing to say that in the halls of the legislature, and so hopefully this bill, really a public health bill that protects our children and our community.
That's right.
Will happen.
Internet, looking forward, let's assume this clears, the governor signs it. Does this mark some threshold for gay rights here in New Mexico? Is it something to be celebrated, kind of anticipating ahead a little bit?
I definitely think it will be celebrated. And it's kind of sad that it took Senator Candelaria to make it. I'm really glad that he made the proposal. But we should all be worried about this, and we should all support it. I think it's going to be, like I said, a good public health move.
Right, exactly. Tom, agreement on that too? Is there something following this? Because clearly it's going to happen. There's not going to be a whole lot of dissent on this. But is this something to be celebrated, that we can put ourselves on a certain kind of a map saying, look, we're progressive here. We're ahead of the curve here?
Yeah, it's a landmark. And, depending, how far it makes it will be a landmark. And just because, committees or bills pass committees by unanimous consent and it passes one particular body doesn't necessarily mean it will make much progress on the other side of the aisle. Right. What I think is interesting in the process of all of this is that there is no mirror bill on the House side. Now, the House memorial from 2016, definitely, is something to look at. But, so I think that, to answer your question, it'll be landmark. And then, I'm sure Senator Candelaria will say, okay, what's next?
You just anticipate. I was going to say, what could possibly be next after that?
Well, remember as well, Gene, that, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, consistently rate very high as gay-friendly communities.
True.
For employment, for living. Consistently it's literally it's up there, one of the top 3 or 4 in all these publications. So it's not a surprise to see this rise to the level of being heard of or discussed in the legislature. I will say this, to Senator Candelaria and to why other legislators haven't done this. I didn't know much about this. I didn't know anything about this until this started to come arise, because it's not something that I've come across. Clearly, Senator Candelaria knows something about this, and that's the beauty of a citizen legislature, right? You have to go back out, live your life amongst the people. You don't get to hold yourself up in a nice townhouse in D.C. and come back once every 6 months. You got to go home to a job, work with people, interact in the community. You get to learn about these things. Right. And so I think it's just another example of why the citizen legislature works so well in New Mexico.
However, we do have a however, Julianne Grimm. We have a bit of a loophole. This does not include folks of religious, religious groups and pastors, keeping politics out of religion, religion into politics. Do you know what I mean? That's a tricky thing right there.
I think, look, this conversion therapy is promoted by, really the evangelical Christian right. It's a tradition that, I was raised in, and members of my family were subjected to this type of therapy.
No kidding.
And I think that there is there's a difference between saying that, to Dan's point, that a licensed therapist, a licensed social worker, somebody can actually bill your insurance to try to talk your kid out of being gay and shame them into hiding maybe for the rest of their life. And I think that's where the line is. Also, no one is telling a conservative Christian adult who's gay that they can't try to let their pastor talk them out of it. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, 14-year-old boys who are being
receiving shock treatment and drugs and
being ridiculed and being told that they don't have a place in this world if they can't figure out how to not be gay. It's just appalling. My voice is shaking because it's so disgusting.
We're with you. That's all the time we have. Thanks for joining us this week. I'm Gene Grant. Thanks for joining us for New Mexico in Focus. We appreciate your time and effort to stay informed and engaged. We'll see you next week in Focus.
Funding for New Mexico in Focus provided by the McCune Charitable Foundation and the Nalita E. Walker Fund for KNME-TV, the KNME-TV Endowment Fund, and viewers like you.